I'm the kingpin. My name is Sicend, and I'm the leader and the founder of Riot City's Most Wanted.
You were trained by indie icon Ruckus. How did you start training with him?
I started going to local indie shows, and I saw Ruckus for the first time, and I said, that dude is basically what I want to be like. If I was a wrestler, that's the dude I want to be like. And I slightly kind of befriended Ruckus going to these shows. We all know that Ruckus likes black and milds and blunt wraps. So I started bringing him to shows, and we kind of became friends. But the big kill shot was I went to a ROH show back in the day where Ruckus wrestled Nigel McGuinness in Richmond, Virginia, and we drove 3.5 hours to go to Richmond, Virginia. That night, Ruckus got hurt, and his girlfriend, Megan, I love you, Meg, saw me, and she goes, "Hey, you're the kid from Maryland that always brings Ruckus his gimmicks." And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Come outside, smoke a cigarette with me. Ruckus is hurt, and I don't know what to do. They won't let me in the back." So I stayed outside with Meg. I talked to her. We had some cool people like Cesaro come outside while they were still in ROH and talk to us and let us know that Ruck was okay. And Meg said, "Don't you want to be a pro wrestler?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Give me your phone number. I will have Claude call you." And I said, "Okay." So I gave her my phone number. We left the show, and literally 2 days later, I was sitting with a couple of my friends, and a phone number just popped up, and it was calling me, and I answered it, and all I got was, "Hey, this is Ruckus. I heard you want to be a pro wrestler." And I walked outside, I talked to him, and we came up with everything, and 3 days later he came up here, and I started training to be a pro wrestler.
And you've developed a special kinship with former WWE star James Ellsworth. Tell us about your relationship with Ellsworth.
So I actually had not met, but I knew Jimmy from going to the same indie company that I met Ruckus at. And Jimmy was just I'd seen him be a referee, a manager, and just a dude that came out and tightened ropes during a show. The first show I ever wrestled was for Ruckus. And when I wrestled the show, Ellsworth just happened to be in the locker room, and he watched my match, and he came up to me, and he started talking to me, and was just like, "Hey, I see potential in you. I would like to take you on the road with me." At this time, I really didn't know he was a wrestler. And I just said, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I always listen to everybody as we do. Mouth shut, ears open. And then he took me on the road, and he got me to be where I am today. Like Ruckus, I will always say this, Ruckus taught me how to wrestle. Ellsworth taught me about the business. So that was our friendship, and we've been friends ever since then.
In the beginning of your career, you were called the Unholy Enigma Skull. Why did you decide to use that name?
That was more or less a joke. So when I was doing backyard wrestling, the way that I wrestled, I guess if you want to call it that, and I guess what I wore, because I wore fishnets. My friend was like, "Oh, you're like Jeff Hardy." Jeff Hardy was a charismatic enigma. And then I did a darker gimmick where I painted my fingernails and did eyeliner and all that stuff. And they were like, "Oh, you're like unholy, so we're going to call you the Unholy Enigma."
You are one of the founding members and head of the Mid-Atlantic stable, Riot City's Most Wanted. Tell us how you came up with the stable and the name.
Again, goes to kind of backyard wrestling again. We were doing some backyard stuff, and I kind of moved around my gimmick a little bit, and I started coming out to Tech Nine's Riot Maker. And the same dude that coined me the Unholy Enigma was like, "Oh, you're like a Riot Maker." I'm like, "Well, that's the name of the song." So when it came down, Riot City didn't show up until 2014. I started wrestling in 2009. Me and Jason Drake, my boy Logan, we started talking about it. And I was always in the backyard. I was always hailed from Riot City, so that just kind of came about, and I started this girl Holly, who I trained, was with us at the time. We were trying to come up with a group name for the three of us, and I kept saying Riot City, Riot City, Riot City Outlaws, a bunch of different things. I went to Ellsworth, and he was like, yeah, I mean, like, it's something. Adam Ugly, who was James Ellsworth's tag team partner, is the one who actually coined the phrase Riot City's Most Wanted. And he came off of that of going, hey, have you ever heard of America's Most Wanted? Or AMW, which is a tag team that was in TNA or Impact at the time. And he was like, just call yourself Riot City's Most Wanted. And that's kind of how that came about. And nowadays, it's the same thing, but we switch between the two of them. It's either Riot City or Riot City's Most Wanted. You can take it as you will.
There has been countless people who don Riot City's Most Wanted shirt for a night, but who all do you believe to have been official Riot City's Most Wanted members?
Obviously me. Jason Drake, 100%, because we're the ones that came up with it. I will always have to say Holly Quinn, because we were the first three members, and we were the ones that coined it. After that, Matt Wild, Aaron Shadows, and then going from there, probably the one that helped me skyrocket the name was Vic Ramon, Machete. Obviously, Ron Holiday, like, he got thrown into the mix by accident. It worked. Ron left. We feuded. Now Ron's back. There's been people that have donned it for the night, but those are my core group of people that I'll always say that were the sole members of Riot City.
There has been many Riot City lineups. Which lineup do you believe is the most iconic, and why?
I've heard different versions of what people will say. To me, 100% personally, the most iconic lineup to me, which was the one that I felt skyrocketed the brand in general, was literally just me and Vic Ramon. Me and Matt did a lot of stuff together. You know, Jason Drake was a founding member, but at the time, it would have been me and Vic. That's my personal one. And then going after that would have been when Jason came back and was with me and Vic. But Vic is, I feel like he put 100% into everything that we were doing, and he just brought it back, because I feel like it was dragging. There was a lot of dissension in what was going on at the time, and Aaron left, Jason Drake left at a time period, and they were doing their own personal things. Me and Matt Wild had personal beefs, and Vic came in and he brought me back up. I was ready to quit the business, and then Vic came back up, and we brought Riot City to a whole new standard that I didn't think we would be able to go to.
You've wrestled plenty of hardcore matches and matches you call Riot City rules matches. Would you please enlighten us on what the difference between the two is?
What, a hardcore match and a Riot City rules match? Name. The name. That's it. It's just a brand that we use. I stole that idea from Raven, because Raven used to do these things where it was a Ravens rules match or a Clockwork Orange match. It was just a hardcore match. It's the same shit. You use the same weapons. You do the same false count anywhere. You use whatever weapons you want, and that's it. It's a name. It's a fixture. That's all it is. I'm sorry. I broke everybody's heart. Riot City rules matches aren't it's a hardcore match. Get over it. Just know there's going to be Legos.
You've taken barbed wire, thumbtacks, light tubes, and once DDT'd someone off a ladder through 2 tables onto a cement floor. Would you ever take part in a proper deathmatch tournament?
Yeah, I've spoken on this like quite a few times that I would. I don't have a problem doing that, and the people that know me closely, I'm actually a big advocate and I'm a big fan of death matches. I love death matches. I think there's a place in them for the wrestling business, but I feel like they need to be done properly. Do not just come out swinging light tubes. Dudes that I'll tell you that are in the hardcore wrestling industry, Rob Van Dam and Sabu were 2 of my favorite, because they didn't just throw chairs at you. They used them in a sense of a means of a move. Okay? So dudes my favorite deathmatch wrestler, and he's one of my friends, G Raver. G Raver is my favorite deathmatch wrestler right now because he doesn't just throw tubes or chairs at your face. He uses them as a means of a weapon and just utilizes it in the proper way. I will also say I do not want to wrestle death matches every day. Deathmatch wrestlers, I respect more than anybody in the wrestling business because if you have 3 shows in a weekend, you got to wrestle 3 death matches. And if you cut yourself open real bad on Friday, you got to make it till Sunday. And that sucks. So I appreciate what they do, but if I do wrestle a death match, it's got to be with somebody that I do trust because I ain't trying to die.
Since pretty much the beginning of your career, you have wrestled for Adrenaline Championship Wrestling based in Maryland. You have won their heavyweight and cruiserweight championships and were also the first ever Gold Rush ladder match winner and King of Maryland. What is there left for you to do in ECW?
Tag titles. That's what I want. I want the tag titles. Let me get I need the 4. I need the 4 main ones. Done everything else. I need the tag titles, and they've just always eluded me for reasons that I have no control over.
You hold quite a few belts at the time of this recording. What are you the champion of right now?
I am the current UCW heavyweight champion. I am the current Voltage grand champion. I am the current EPPW respect champion. And I am the current U.S. tag team champion for SWF.